True or false? Stripes was shot in a dry county in Kentucky, so you would hang in John Candy's hotel room where he kept a bathtub full of beer.
Yeah, correct. Very correct. The one thing you don't know is that somebody had to explain to Candy, who was like the king of Molson, right, what a dry county was, because he's from Canada. And so when I first told him, no, a dry county is a place in the United States where you can't buy alcohol. And he's like, yeah, right. I said, no, it's true. And he goes, what do you mean? The weather, dry? What are you talking about? I said, you can't buy alcohol in this county. And he goes, beer's not alcohol.
What sort of parsing is that? That's what's parsing? Like he's like, that's not alcohol.
Yeah, beer's not alcohol. Hey, don't look at me. Yeah, so we were about, I don't know, a little less than an hour out of Louisville. We were in the middle of nowhere at Fort Knox, Kentucky. And next day, he just had the Teamsters in on it. And so he got an adjoining room, and that was kind of the party room. And he just kept a bathtub full of ice and beer for us. And that was where we hung out.
And you rehearsed the Razzle Dazzle rifle scene?
Yeah, we had the Razzle Dazzle rifle scene. They were all wooden rifles, but there was a lot of spinning involved, and there were big cracks and holes in Candy's ceiling because we kept losing the rifles and smashing the. That was so wild and wonderful. That was comedy college for me, you know.
Had to have been. I mean, look, there's Bill Murray and Harold Ramis up on the screen there, and Francis.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
If you touch my stuff, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was originally Cheech and Chong Goes to the Army.
What?
That's what that was?
Yeah, and then for some reason the deal didn't make with Columbia. They were out. They brought Ivan in, who had produced Animal House.
Yeah.
And just directed Bill and Meatballs. And Bill said, I'll do the movie, but I want Harold to be my sidekick because they were friends, but Bill being no slouch, the movie was Cheech and Chong. And so they had to, as they went, Harold and Bill made it a Bill vehicle. And so we would block the scenes, decide where everybody was going to be going, and the camera they would set up the lighting, and then Harold and Bill would go into Harold's trailer and come out with the most outrageous stuff that we'd never heard before. Even Candy would put his head down like this to keep from laughing. And I put my hands in my pockets and would squeeze my thighs so hard.
To keep from laughing?
Yeah, because we'd never heard it before. It's all those great speeches and Stripes, you know, just the most outrageous stuff. Like Lee Harvey, I want to party with you guys. Remember that line?
Of course.
This was what they did in the trailer. They came out and nailed it. And then sometimes he'd go off like some kind of comic beat poet. He would just go off on these tangents, and Ivan would shut it down eventually, and we were just crying. We were crying.
Talk about Sergeant Hulka being the big toe of the...
Yes, you're the big... That's exactly right. That's stuff that they came up with in Harold's trailer, and we'd never heard it. So.
Fantastic. Okay, let's get to Fast Times here. True or false? Sean Penn stayed completely in character as Jeff Spicoli throughout the entire shooting of Fast Times, and you didn't see the real Sean Penn until the last day.
That's correct. Wow. I figured. Well, it wasn't a directive, but we were just told the guy would prefer to just be referred to as Spicoli, and that was fine. Nobody knew anybody else. The first time I saw Sean was when he poured out of that van in the parking lot with all the smoke. And I figured, okay, this guy is either the guy, Spicoli, or a comic who has this one shtick. And I kind of decided, okay, that's what it is. He's an actor who has this one character. And the Mighty Mart scene at the end, that was our last scene. I think it was Sean's last night too. He dropped it and was suddenly this very articulate Spicoli turns into this extremely educated, articulate guy and talking to Amy about all sorts of movies. And I thought, wow, this guy is brilliant because he was so different. You know, he was so different.
Just talking like some erudite professorial type of guy.
Yeah, just like that, with insights about about filmmaking and
Damn.
yeah.
Wow.
We knew he was from Malibu too, so that kind of fed the belief that he was just this surfer guy.
Is it true that the scene where I'll never forget it as a red-blooded American male with Phoebe Cates is actually like something that you don't like talking about because of that scene?
No, the reason because when I talk about it with print, they always lead with it. They always, if it's a print interview, they always lead with Judge Reinhold, professional masturbator, or So that's why I'm hesitant to talk about it. Recently, People magazine came out with Judge Reinhold. Masturbation was humiliating for him, like somebody had made me do it, And so I decided, but no, I'm safe with you, I'm okay.
All right.
Obviously, it was simulated. It was just a series of indignities that Brad had to go through. So when I read the script, I thought that scene was hysterical. But when it came time to shoot it, the reality of it was chilling.